I'm Ed Forbes, Senior Director for Opinion Engagement for the USA Today Network Northeast, and I'm joined this afternoon by uh, Sal Maiorana, Buffalo Bills correspondent and columnist for the USA Today Network and the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle. Sal, welcome. I'm so grateful for you for making some time. What a remarkable week this has been for Bills Nation. A stunning loss in Denver with a complicated ending in overtime, a firing of a coach, a massive press conference in which Terry Pegula, owner of the team, Brandon Beane, general manager, explained their decision-making in the aftermath of the chaos of the weekend. Bills Mafia across the country is trying to make sense of what has happened here this week. Obviously, Sean McDermott, head coach for the last 9 seasons, had a remarkable run, 8 years in the playoffs. And it wasn't enough for Pegula and Beane. Everyone I know who is close to Western New York, close to upstate New York, is talking about what has happened this week. And you've had a front row seat covering it remarkably all season, watching these different tension points that everyone is talking about. Bubble. Wow, what a week, Sal. Take us to Saturday night in Denver. Let's start there.
I was just going to say, thanks for having me on the show, Ed. And Denver was quite an evening because, for several years now, the Bills have just played. It just feels like every time they play a playoff game, something epic happens. I mean, that's partly because they played the Chiefs all those seasons, and those games were just great. Great Mahomes versus Allen matchups, and every one of them seemed to come down to the end. And then we get this game, in Denver on Saturday, which there had to be 10 or 12 plays that were just colossal plays on both sides of the ball for both teams. And it ended up in this 33-30, great playoff game that'll be replayed in both cities for a long time because of all the craziness that took place out there. And then, for the Bills, unfortunately, they've become so accustomed to losing these heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, head-scratching games. But this one had a different tone to it. This was a season for the Bills that they overcame a lot of adversity just to get to the point they were at in Denver Saturday night with a chance to go to the AFC Championship game. I never thought this roster was a championship roster, and they get to this point and then lose in the way that they did. I think it just all of the weight of that and what's happened in the past, several seasons really kind of came crashing down in that locker room Saturday night in Denver.
Just astonishing. Both what happened in terms of the was it a catch, wasn't a catch, of course. Then you have Allen, who, as you alluded to there, had a number of opportunities that were missed throughout that game. And then we had the aftermath of the 2 press appearances, one by Allen, tearful, broken-hearted, and then another by Sean McDermott, longtime head coach, defiant and standing up for Buffalo in a way that resonated with a lot of fans. The drama of that in real time must have been wild. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was. Look, we're in that press conference room, and Josh usually comes out first. He likes to get it over with, and McDermott always needs time to process before he comes out. But I've never seen Josh Allen. I'm standing right at the entrance, and I saw the PR guy come out, which means Allen's coming. And all of a sudden, there's no Allen. And I saw him stop and go around the corner, and we could hear him, break. He was already crying when he was trying to come in, but it just bubbled up again, and he didn't want to be completely bawling. So he stopped for about 30 seconds, gathered himself best he could. But even when he got to the podium, you could see that he was still crying. I asked the first couple questions and was trying to be respectful of his feelings. And, he was very short with his answer, but I understood that that was the case. He was emotionally overwrought by what went down. So yeah, that was tough to see because we've seen Josh be, actually a little bit petulant sometimes when they lose.
Definitely.
And it kind of pisses us off because he is the face of the franchise. And I think we deserve more than what we get sometimes from him after a loss. But this
Sure.
one was perfectly understandable. Could not fault him for, for breaking down the way he did. And, people have asked me, oh, he must have known that loss was going to cost McDermott his job. No, that was not the case. He did not know that loss was going to cost Sean his job. But anyways, Sean comes up there about a half hour later, and he was pissed. That was
he really was pissed. Yeah,
that was as demonstrative as I've ever seen him, especially over an official's call. He usually does not do that, and I think he had a good reason to. It was a very controversial play, and he let it all out, and that was a little bit surprising too. So yeah, that scene in Denver, all of it, really was something unique for all of us who covered it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. The playoff losses over the last few seasons have been difficult. They have been wrenching, but this was extra special. If you're a Bills fan, that was a certain kind of torture in Denver on Saturday night. So many opportunities to seize momentum, even in the overtime period. Just a heartbreaker. And then you have these two appearances, which then set up another week of aftermath and chaos.